Why are data breaches always in the headlines, but never about the people behind them? You know, the ones who clicked, lost their life savings, had their lives flipped upside down. This isn't just cybercrime, it's real life. And AI, artificial intelligence, it's accelerating everything, including our mistakes. Today we're exposing how trust is being weaponized and how you can fight back. This is Cybercrime Junkies, and now the show. So why are data breaches always in the news? And what's missing from those stories? We hear about records stolen, systems locked, ransomware, and we saw in the last few days, and it's still continuing on off and on with the big AWS outage, that systems are recovering. But we rarely hear about the people, the ones at the epicenter of the data breach. The ones who click the link, the ones who are busy and distracted or get socially engineered. They wind up suffering so much, and their story is really never told. And it's something that we have to consider whenever we see these headlines in the news. They suffer identity theft, drained savings, sleepless nights, wondering what else is taken, spending a lot of what's left of their little free time working on fixing their identities, their credit, and arguing with banks about funds stolen. Cybercrime isn't just about data. It's about all of us. Every breach has a human fingerprint. A mistake, a shortcut, a click we didn't pause before making. And then comes the fallout, right? Bank accounts compromised, credit destroyed, mental and physical health unraveling under stress. We talk about firewalls, but the real firewall, the human firewall, it's broken. We have the highest dependence on technology than ever before in human history. We used to have two worlds, right? We had an office, we had computers in the office, and if something went wrong with them, okay, it was a little inconvenient, but overall we were fine, weren't we? I mean, we still had kinetic physical processes in place to take credit cards, to to render medical care, to conduct business, sales, follow-ups, etc. We weren't totally dependent in our whole world on the technology. And all that's changed, right? We've traded those kinetic physical processes for digital transformation. We pay with our phones, we sign with our thumbs, we store our entire lives in clouds we've never even seen. We call it digital transformation. But the truth is, it's digital dependence. And that dependence is a dangerous kind of faith. You know, we pick up our phones on average 264 times a day. That's not transformation. That's addiction. There's a new cyber attack on a U.S. organization every 11 seconds right now. Cybercrime now ranks the third largest economy in the world. There's the U.S., China, and cybercrime. Generates more revenue than the international drug trade for at least the last 6 years in a row, and more revenue than Canada, Mexico, and all of the European Union combined. Small to mid-sized businesses, in fact, get hit hardest, right? Did you know that? Like, overwhelmingly, small to mid-sized businesses are the ones getting targeted the most and hit the most. The ones that make the news, though, are the household names, obviously, because otherwise mainstream media won't pick it up. And then a recent report came out, I forget if it was IBM or Axios, but they found that 77% of employees of U.S. companies, 77%, in an anonymous survey, so they're telling the truth, they all said that they were using unapproved AI tools at work. That creates a whole other list of risks, right? Because they can't defend or protect what they don't see. And if we're all using different things, there's no standardization. No one is being trained properly on how to prompt and how to avoid obvious risks like the AI browsers, the prompt injections, the data leakage, data loss prevention. There's a lot that's happening, and a lot of it is in all of our controls. Meanwhile, we sit there with TikTok on our phones, and over 80% of us have our phones and our work email and our work systems all on the same device, right? And meanwhile, we're curating our lives with apps that quietly track everything. The lines between home and work have completely vanished, right? Those are blurred lines now. It used to be people would head into the office, work, leave, right? There was a separation between work and your home life. No longer, right? Our mobile phones are available 24/7. We have both our private lives, our hobbies, and our work lives all on the same devices. And even if they're different devices, when we work from home, which a vast majority of people still do in some hybrid capacity, then they're all on the same network, all protected along with Internet of Things devices and smart devices at home, all that have zero security because people don't go in and change those. I mean, think about it. Our Wi-Fi routers connect our kids' tablets, our smart doorbells, as well as business laptops, etc., all in one network. 42% of data breaches today actually start at what we're doing at home. 42%. That's a significant amount. And like I mentioned, 80-something% of us use our phones both for personal and professional life. And then what else are we doing for our human firewall? How many of us have a really good password? Probably all of us. But how many of us use it for more than one app? Probably everybody, right? Very few people actually use password managers. Very few of us. And it's something that is so simple to do and something we all need to do. We keep thinking that work and home are separate. They're not, right? We keep thinking cybersecurity, security awareness, and things like that. That's for that boring stuff at work. That has nothing to do with my home life or my personal life. And that's completely wrong. I'll prove it. It took 80 years from the invention of the automobile and the internal combustion engine before seatbelts were ever required. It took decades of denial before we admitted cigarettes were even killing people. But let me ask you, would any of you smoke 3 packs of Marlboro Reds a day and call it healthy? Would you merge onto the interstate doing 90 miles an hour surrounded by semis with no seatbelt on today? How about with your loved ones in the car? Exactly. Nobody with any sense would do that. Yet every day we scroll, post, and prompt like we're invincible, trusting that tech companies whose business model is not safety, their business model is data and ad revenue. Seatbelts didn't slow innovation of the automobile, right? They made driving sustainable for the long term. They saved lives, they reduced injuries. We need the same mindset when we think of cybersecurity and artificial intelligence. Guardrails aren't restrictions, they are survival tools. So everybody that watches this video, there will be a link in the show notes. I encourage you to check it out. We have simple, proven, effective resources that cost nothing that show you all of the best practices. Phone safety checklists, credit card fraud protection, travel and social media safety, child protection tips, step-by-step guides to freeze your credit and remove your data footprint from data breaches, from data brokers. Let me tell you this. If you haven't seen or met me before, the number one thing you need to do is freeze your credit. Freeze your credit, freeze your children's credit. It costs nothing. It helps your credit. And after speaking with key cybercrime people, they all admit openly on this show that if Americans would freeze their credit, they couldn't do about 80% of what they do to us. And it's free. It takes about 20, 30 minutes. Freeze your credit to 3 different bureaus. We show you exactly how to do it. There's no cost. We also recommend strongly to freeze the credit of your children or any minors that you're a guardian of or grandkids, etc. Why? Because those identities are used for decades. We have had people on this show, we have talked to hundreds of them who, as they come of age, they find out, holy crap, I've got a foreclosed condo in Nevada in my name, and I've got $180,000 worth of medical bills, and now they have to declare bankruptcy. It's not a joke. This is real. So, protecting your digital life or improving your digital cyber hygiene, don't do it for work. Do it for you. Do it for your loved ones. Okay? Do it so that you can enjoy gaming and enjoy your apartment and your house and all that stuff. Just protect it a little. The good news is, look, they're not necessarily even targeting you, but you're going to get swept up. Cybercriminals generally, and I know many of them watch this, so you know I'm telling the truth. They're pretty opportunistic, right? They want cash grabs. They want to come in, hit hard, and then leave. And we don't blame them, right? America has done a lot of things to piss off a lot of people in a lot of countries. We know that. We didn't do it. The idiots that the public elected did. But you're hurting us. Here's the thing. In general, we've all shopped at Target, right? And picture the Target parking lot with hundreds of cars, right? If you wanted to break in and steal something from one of those cars, are you going to take a crowbar and smash the windows and draw a bunch of attention? No. Not unless you work for Antifa and you just want attention. No. You want to go by every single door, right? Blend in and just pull the door handles. Why? Because a bunch of people are going to keep those doors unlocked. You're going to go in, you're going to take it from there. All you have to do in to protect yourself are some very basic low-cost things. That's it. You just have to lock your doors. You just have to do a little bit so that they move on past you. That's the key. And that's the beauty of it, is a lot of this is 100% preventable. Freeze your credit and your kids, right? Fix your password reuse. I mean, there's a lot of good password managers out there. Keeper is fantastic. We've got links to that. Nord is fantastic. There's a bunch of them. There's a couple, you can Google it. You can search it online. There's a couple that have had issues, right? Don't go with them. But the other aspect is the neuroscience behind social engineering. When I say social engineering, I mean somebody speaking with you, communicating with you through some app or email or phone. It's communication. A threat actor impersonating a trusted person, trying to convince you to do something against your own interests. That's social engineering. The neuroscience behind it shows that when they always create that sense of urgency or the sense of authority or something like that, they are triggering amygdala hijack. They're raising the cortisol levels in your brain, and you cannot recall certain things. It uses the limbic part of your brain, the center part, right? And that drives behavior. It's instinctual, right? It is the Neanderthal view of there's a friggin' woolly mammoth in our village, we have to leave, fight or flight, right? It drives that. By pausing, neuroscientists that we've had on this show have said it lowers the cortisol levels and allows the outer part of the brain, the modern brain, the neocortex, that has the ability to comprehend and analyze vast amounts of data. It allows that to kick in. And from there, we can recall that we need to pause and verify. It doesn't matter what you do, what the ask is. If you pause and verify through a channel, if you're in an office, walk down the hall and ask the CFO, did you ask me to do this? Right? Or call them, text them at the number that you know they're at. If you do that, none of this is going to happen, right? And data brokers are key to opt out of. Look, data brokers, there's 35,000 of them. Your data gets bought and sold and then resold and then resold. All it takes is one of those sets of your records and your credentials, etc., to be bought, or on the dark web to be bought. And they no longer have to hack. They will literally just log in as you, because that's what they're doing today. When you think of a hacker, do you picture a kid in a hoodie and living in his mom's basement drinking Red Bull all night with advanced technical skills? They are out there, don't get me wrong, and they're brilliant, but they're not the majority. The majority of them are opportunistic, organized crime. Think more The Sopranos than iRobot, right? Now, there's also one more thing. Here's where the story kind of takes a turn. As AI has integrated into our technology dependence and addiction, it's accelerating everything. It's incredibly exciting. But right now, trust is being weaponized. AI can diagnose diseases, but it can also design ransomware. It can write your business plan or a ransom note. Deepfakes can clone voices in less than 10 seconds. Now, many of you might be thinking, well, hey, I don't care. I'm not a public figure. I don't do public speaking. I don't have a lot of video of me out there. You have a voicemail on your phone. We've demoed it right here on the show. We've been able to create clones of voices from a voicemail. We've done it on the show. It's super easy. And then people cannot tell. And we can make them say anything. We just type it in and it says it. You can adjust the syntax. You can make it sound exactly like the person. I mean, malicious actors use AI to sound like your CEO, your spouse, or your child. And what that means is the next social engineering attempt isn't going to come from a stranger. It's going to come from someone you think you know. Imagine you get a call from someone that sounds exactly like your boss or a trusted vendor. You act before you think, right? That's the moment they're counting on. Or you get a phishing email and you pause and you remember, but then it's followed by a calendar invite. And on there will be a Zoom or Teams meeting, and it'll be that trusted vendor or the boss. And they will look and sound exactly like them. And they will ask you to do something. You have to verify through a legitimate means before you do anything releasing sensitive data. Here, when I say it's undetectable by the human eye, here's what I mean. I'm going to play a clip that'll demonstrate the current state of deepfake. Check out the current state of deepfakes in this video clip.
Criminals are taking advantage. Here's how AI is transforming online crimes.
It's a disturbing new trend, another layer of artificial intelligence.
You know, as an entity, what could possibly happen if this gets into the wrong hands?
This is happening quicker than any of us could have imagined. So I want to get you up to speed on what's happening with deep fakes.
Seeing is not believing anymore.
We now have the ability to make people look like other people. Like, I could be Johnny, or I could be Nick the studio manager. Look, I'm Nick the studio manager right now. I could also be Tom the music composer. And what's crazy is even if you go back and watch what I just showed you frame by frame, you likely won't be able to tell. Now my face is slowly morphing into something else, and it's basically pixel perfect. Look, it's like amazing. I'm not me. I mean, I am me, but I'm not me to you. And that's kind of nuts.
We're about to enter a brave
It scares me. It really
world.
does. It scares me.
It's getting to the point where deepfakes are nearly impossible to decipher as computer generated, which is super exciting, but also kind of scary.
The FBI tells NBC News they're following the rapidly developing technology closely.
It's a real concern. It's a real concern.
Lawmakers and law enforcement are getting worried about this technology. Here's a letter from Congress to the Director of National Intelligence. Here is a 43-page report from the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. DHS says that deepfakes and the misuse of synthetic content pose a clear, present, and evolving threat to the public across national security, law enforcement, financial, and societal domains. The Pentagon is using its big research wing, the one that helped invent, the GPS, the COVID vaccine, and the literal internet, that one, to look into deepfakes and how to combat them. They're taking this very seriously. And then, of course, deepfakes are being used for good old-fashioned cybercrime. Like this group of fraudsters who were able to clone the voice of a major bank director and then use it to steal $35 million in cold hard cash. $35 million. What can be done? Let's first remember that when a new technology comes along, it typically evolves rapidly. Way faster than the lawmakers who need to understand it to regulate it do. So we're in the kind of Wild West phase where the lawmakers are kind of just trying to get their head around this stuff.
Let's hope that Congress can catch up.
So, as we saw, right, those making the rules and the guardrails have not caught up. We are what Perry Carpenter over at KnowBe4, the guy who wrote that fake F-A-I-K book, which is brilliant. Follow Perry if you don't already. But he calls it the exploitation zone. It's where technology has advanced faster than humans can comprehend. And that's where we are. That's literally where we are today. Because trust is being weaponized, and acting before we think, right, is the moment that attackers are counting on. I mean, look, AI isn't good or evil. It's just obedient. It does exactly what we teach it. So the question we have to ask ourselves is, what are we teaching it about us? I mean, seeing is no longer believing. So when we think of the future of cybersecurity, look, it's not AI. AI is a tool and it's accelerating it. The future of cybersecurity is not AI. It's behavior. AI accelerates everything, including our mistakes. And it isn't evil, it's just obedient. The question is, what are we prompting it? What are we training it to do? So our ask of you is simple. Take back control. Protect everything that matters. Because it's more than just your work data. Thanks. I'm Dean Morrow, part of FBI's InfoGuard and Vice President with Necking Technologies. Every headline hides a story. A paralegal who reused a password and lost her job. A father whose cave vanishes after identity theft. A rural hospital that pays a ransom and still loses patients. Cybercrime doesn't attack companies. It attacks people. When you strengthen your personal cyber hygiene, your organization will win. So remember, the next time you see a breach in the news, remember this. It's more than just a headline. That's somebody's story. Catch us on YouTube, follow us on LinkedIn, and dive deeper at cybercrimejunkies.com. Don't just watch, be the type of person that fights back. This is Cybercrime Junkies, and now the show.